Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You're the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in, folks, on this fine Wednesday. A fine Wednesday, really, on the network. Very nice shows today. Appreciate the raid from Joel Friday's channel. Those who caught his episode are now in my chat. Very cool. If you missed it, you definitely want to watch it. He was telling y'all the truth. Very cool. Great day on the network. What a great day on the network. We're on American Anchor Baby now. Appreciate you being here with me. A couple things I want to get into, as I do every day. 888-775-3773. If you want to jump on the air, you want to talk, you want to get something off your chest, you want to talk about some mess, I don't know. I have people calling me. Talk about mess. Anyways, look, we're going to get into a couple of things. 888-775-3773. I'm live on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Live on DLive.tv and twitch.tv/Gorgonzola. It's a nice Wednesday. I mean, it's a good shows. I want to start off. I think there's nothing else I got to talk about. I want to start off with a little clip. I want you to watch this moment. This moment, where was this? I don't know why. You may have seen this, though. Governor Gavin Newsom. You may have heard of him. He's been he's that tall governor of California. He was pitted up against Ron DeSantis for a bit there. You can almost see him as, is it fair? I've heard him be described as the Ron DeSantis of the Democrats. You know, a good governor, at least in the eyes of some. I don't know who. Someone described him like that. And a challenge and a possible replacement for Biden. So he's going around making appearances. Did he ever debate Gavin Newsom? I think they did do that, right? They had a big old spat. Ron DeSantis, Gavin Newsom. Ended in a debate. I don't know who won that. Newsom was total liberal. Who cares? Gavin Newsom was doing a little op. I don't know what he was doing, but he was playing basketball. He was showing off his moves. You seen this? Anybody seen this? This is from a couple months ago. A couple months ago, Gavin Newsom knocks down kid playing basketball. I want to show you this clip real quick, okay? I want you to see it. Open your eyes. Pay attention to this one. Gavin Newsom knocking into this poor young little Chinese basketball player. He's playing with a whole bunch of Chinese bambinos. What do you call them in the Mandarin or Chinese or whatever? They're not bambinos, right? That's not fair. But a bunch of little Chinese bambinos playing basketball. And he bumps into him. I'm just trying to set it up here. I'm clicking away. Moving my things around. Let's see if we could watch this.
So
some awkward moments during Governor Newsom's China trip over the weekend. He was showing off his basketball moves with a group of students when he lost his footing. Took down a child as he fell onto the court. It happened during a shop in Beijing. After tumbling on the child, Newsom laughed, patted him on the back, and told him, quote, "I got you." Neither the child nor the governor
I got you. Just a little moment there with Gavin Newsom bumping into him. What a horrible bump. Obviously not even news. Most people seeing that's probably not even news, right? Definitely nothing improper to me here. Look, I'm showing you this clip because I had someone call me yesterday about this. Not really. They called me about something else, but they threw in a little comment about this very clip. Okay? Let me see. Just trying to move my stuff around here. You might know her. LatinA. You might know this name. She's called my show a couple times. And so if you missed it, you might want to podcast my show. I do release it on a podcast, Spotify, 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒐, or is it, wait, my apologies, it's Substack. I got it right here, hold on. Hold on, folks. 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒐.com. You can podcast yesterday's episode. And at the end there, I had a call with LatinA. A fine call, I think. Until she brought up a little thing, right? At the end of her call, she threw in how this moment with Gavin Newsom was some creepo grope stuff. It was like a grope, some creepo stuff, man. You don't touch kids like that. I wouldn't want him touching my kids like that, she was saying. And I said, I was like, oh, you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say that. Because she shouldn't. She shouldn't have been saying that. It was a judgment. Honestly, sincerely, I went back and reviewed the call. And I was terribly weak at my response. Straight up. This is why this matters. It's not that deep. We're not going to harp on this, but listen. What LatinA was saying was pure evil. That was wrong what she was saying. I remember I had a caller judging Biden in similar ways. That judgment of Gavin Newsom like that, you guys just saw that clip. There was nothing wrong with that clip. She should be ashamed of her judgment on men and what she said. She should honestly be ashamed of that. I sincerely hope I never meet her children. Because she would accuse me of the same thing. Is pure evil. So that's all. I'm done here. I'm not going to harp on it because then I'll just try to make up. I'll just be trying to make up for my weak response. You don't want to be doing that. I think the charge of evil is plenty right there, and we can leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? The charge of evil, that's plenty right there because that's pure evil. Judgment of impropriety. What was that? He bumped into the guy, and it was almost like. What is it about Gavin Newsom that I like? It's this like tall Chad quality where I know that he stumbled and it's embarrassing, but he's got this like, how do I explain it? He's got this like slicked hair, like camera's always on me. I know it's egotistical, it's stupid, but it's like camera always on me. I fell, but he gets up and you see a twinkle, shing. He's like, oh, don't worry, little boy. I'm just messing around, you know? What do you guys say? You say you got to be kidding, Nick? You what, Nugget Man? You think he was actually groping that child? What are you thinking? Are you really thinking? What are you guys saying? Can you replay it, Nick? Reese's vids. You guys really think that was groping? Come on. Yes, Chris, LatinA was talking about this yesterday. I'm talking about that call. It was evil, what she said. And I just was grinning away. I was like, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. LatinA, blah, blah, blah. You know. And it's not that deep, right? It's not like, oh, let's get all serious about it. It's just, evil is evil. We can't play around with that. We can't mess around. Come on. I wasn't thinking that, but I am now since you brought it up. Well, Carver, I'm responding to the call. It was someone else who brought it up. I didn't see any problem with that. You really think? I mean, he bumped into the kid. Come on. Women need to wind their necks in trying to govern men's behavior. They look at the world with ridiculous behavior, with ridiculous eyes. Everything is fake, corrects himself. Yeah, so no need to harp on it. Evil is enough. Let's move on. Nick, it was awkward, but I hardly call it evil. No. It's evil. And you got men agreeing with this. Look, I don't know too much about this guy. Kyle Kulinski, I think is his name. Secular Talk. I believe he was on the Jesse Lee Peterson show at some time. Look. This is how the men are talking about similar situations. Watch this.
He just straight barrels over this poor kid. Jesus Christ. Oh, that's so embarrassing. And by the way, the part nobody's talking about, which people should be talking about, is don't spank the Chinese kid. He tackles this poor kid, and then he spanks him a couple times on the butt to be like, ha, 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 it's all in good fun, right, fella? Stop touching his ass. Stop touching the Chinese kid's booty. For the love of God. Hands to yourself. Very creepy. Very creepy. All right.
So, yeah, I don't know if he's supposed to be like, I think he's like a libertarian, maybe. Basically a liberal. I mean, do I really need to explain that? That's just, he's thinking like a woman. He's acting like a total female. And it's motivated out of what? I don't know, some political stuff, clicks, feelings. It's all so wrong. It's all so wrong. Yeah, he kind of slipped. I'd say it was more of a slip. If you see his foot, it slips. And he kind of, because he did a little, kind of like a clunky, but maybe he had done it in his youth or something. Did a little spin move around the back, but then I think he was wearing dress shoes. Total slip right into the kid. Hey, I don't know. I don't know if you'd call it charging. I don't know what kind of foul that'd be. Do you get fouled for if your foot slips and it's a mistake? What happens? Are there rules against that? What happens? Dude, I see someone hug and tap my kid butt like that. I'm not responsible. Dang. It's just a crazy thing to just assume that, man. Don't you think that's kind of a little far? Don't you think the more likely thing is that he bumped into him and he was like doing this like ingratiating, like, hey, you're fine, get up on, kid. And the kid was laughing, and no need to keep looking at chat because I'll just stay on this story forever. I wanted to show you Randy Orton to really drive this one home. You know who Randy Orton is? Where are my WWE fans? Where are my wrestling fans? Maybe they grew up. I don't know. I'm not a fan. It's been a long time since I've done a little wrestling, done a little RKO action. Randy Orton, isn't he the inventor of the RKO? Really one of the all-time best finishing moves. It's just so clean, so fast. It can happen at any time. Whoa, watch out. Do you know anything about Vince McMahon? I've talked about him a little bit on my show. Vince McMahon, big name in that world. Wrestling. The biggest promoter in the whole freaking thing. He's just, if you know who I'm talking about, you know. If you don't, you may have heard me mention him, though, and how he's also at the center of some allegations. And you look into it, just like a cursory look, you know that that it's clearly a problem between him and these individuals. It looks like a lot of consensual stuff. People years later saying, actually, it wasn't. NDAs were signed, money was exchanged, but hey, guess none of that matters. I don't know what to tell you, but Vince McMahon, I'm not saying this to feel bad for him, by the way. The man was involved with whatever he was doing. Like these famous, rich, they got money, celebrities. You've seen it. Donald Trump even, they judge him for his past, but he was one of them. Playboys. You play with fire. Hey, you play with fire, you might get burned. That's all I'm saying. Jesus said marriage is between a man and woman. I'm just saying, look, I'm just leaving that for y'all to smoke on. But Vince McMahon, no need to get into the details. He's at the center of some of these allegations, okay? Randy Orton, what is this? 43-year-old Randy Orton worked closely with McMahon. Why do you even have to make a statement? He comes out, he's like, so part of me wants to not believe it. And then the other part of me understands that he could have done all these wonderful things for me and created this amazing thing that will go on and on. But on the other hand, he's human, and he made some effing terrible mistakes. I mean, how do you know, man? What do you know the details and all that? Why even comment? Don't you know that there's an attack, a grand conspiracy against the man? They called him patriarchy. They called him the oppressors. I wish maybe things would be a little better. Maybe things would be ordered a little better. Oh, they're the oppressors. You wish they would be the oppressors. But it's just women and female-minded men. Female-minded men who can't keep their mouths shut. They want to. A camera, a mic gets shoved in your face, and you're like, already fear. I'm just imagining what Randy Orton might have been feeling. Already fear. All of a sudden, camera in your face, mic in your face. He may have done some bad things. I don't know. No comment. I don't want to get in on. How about no comment? This is none of my business, and you should be ashamed for trying to keep all this mess going. What a mess, huh? 888-775-3773. Nick, my favorite black supremacist. Am I still the blackest? I don't know. Vince-ish on that. I don't know about couples. I don't know about the details, and I don't care. If their feet are moving, there's no call. Hey, thank you for that. Reese's Vids. Yeah, you help them up. Don't hug and touchy touch. What the hell? What the H? Hey, you already heard what I had to say about it. Appreciate you being here, Nugget Man. Don't do the judging. You're acting like LatinA. Don't do that. Okay, we're done. Okay. Amazing. Let me see what you guys are saying here, because, I got all these windows open. I want to get to more show. There's so much to get to. 888-775-3773. My close and personal friend, 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎, also, has anyone ever said you need 3 hours? I could be mistaken. This may have been from yesterday. I may have already read this, but you can buy me a coffee. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. What's up, DJ 2020? How you doing? Supporter over there on Rumble. Appreciate that. Anyways, I got some more interesting things to show you. You're going to like this one, I think. A little bit of relationships. There's a video going around. Nick, have you ever had your DNA tested? Maybe this person hasn't been watching my show. I feel like I've displayed my DNA for the public too many times. Whatever, Reese's Vids. No comment doesn't really work when and I won't repeat that. You'll have to be in the chat. You got to be in the chat to see some of this that I can't repeat. Maybe you'd rather not be and just enjoy the show, but check it out. It helps. Chat away. No problem, Mornings, no problem. I'm just messing around. Appreciate you being here. New name, I've never seen it. Okay, there's a video going around I want to show you. It's about relationships. Echo, someone on Twitter here, x.com, posted a video of this woman explaining why your girlfriend dumped you. They're saying it's important information, valuable information alert. I'm almost amazed this came across. I was literally just talking about this with someone. Something like this. So this video, this woman's going viral. Why your girlfriend dumped you. Let's see if we can get into it a little bit. Because Jordan Peterson shared it. He's saying this is pretty good. Oh yeah. I'm not saying this isn't bad. I'm saying it's pretty good. That's a horrible impression. It's low-hanging fruit. If you want to do a Jordan Peterson impression, low-hanging fruit is to do the nots. I'm not into transgender. I don't know. Anyways, just a little tip, but I'm not good at it. Jordan Peterson. This is really good. Okay, I'm done. That's horrible. We're going with the video. Let's get to the video.
If you're a boy who has ever been dumped by your girlfriend for seemingly no apparent reason and you're looking for answers, this is what happened. Okay, this is you guys. You guys are in a happy relationship, and now all of a sudden you have one simple, fixable problem. For this example, we're going to use no good morning text. And your girlfriend who loves you, she's really happy with you. She comes to you and she tells you, she's like, hey, do you think we could start doing good morning texts? Like, it'd mean a lot to me if you text me good morning. So you, her loving boyfriend, agree to give her good morning texts. But something happened, and for whatever reason, you stopped giving her good morning texts. So now we have a bigger problem. She now thinks that you don't care enough about her to send her good morning texts, even though she asked. But she's going to be like, you know what, this is still kind of a small problem. I'm just going to remind him. She reminds you, you're like, oh my gosh, that's right. I did agree to that. Okay, I will text you good morning. Unfortunately, though, you didn't follow through again. Now we have confirmed that you do not care enough to text her good morning, even though this is a simple, fixable problem. This is now a big problem. So now your girlfriend, who has never picked fights before in her life, starts picking a bunch of little fights about all these different things because she believes that you do not care enough. Through all of these picking fights with you, though, she still loves you and likes you enough to want to be with you, even though you guys have all these little problems now.
And they're all your fault.
Until one day, these become unattractive to her. She's going to realize that all of these little things that you do that remind her that you don't care about her enough are unattractive. And so now the problem is not these things. It's not even that you don't care enough. It's not even that she never got good morning texts. It's that she literally does not like you anymore. Does not like you. Now, unfortunately, she has to break up with you. And then you're going to ask her why. And she's going to list out all of the reasons why she has to break up with you. And you are going to say, no, you should not break up with me because of those reasons, because from now on, I am going to do all of these things. And you will never have to worry about me never doing these things again because I'm going to do them every single day. But remember, it doesn't even matter if you were to do all of these things anymore, because the problem now is that she's unattracted to you and just simply does not like you anymore. And now she's going to go move on with her life, and you're going to go and tell your friends that you got dumped by absolutely no reason and that you guys all hate her and that she's crazy for dumping you over something so simple. When in reality, she never dumped you at all. This was a slow-moving process that eventually led to the final reason, and you weren't dumped. You probably actively chose not to give her what she said she needed, and now you guys aren't together anymore. Sorry.
Sorry, thank you for bearing with me. Appreciate that. She had the graph and everything. She had the esoteric knowledge muted. Okay, you can unmute. I appreciate that. Thank you for sitting through that. I had to show you that. So it's being shared a lot. Jordan Peterson, this other guy, Jake something. Seems like some alpha male guy. That's not fair to say. Some guy on Twitter, other people on Twitter, a lot of men. This is pretty good information, they're saying. This is pretty good. It's pretty good. And it's not bad info in the sense that there's something displayed here about women's nature. The part that no one's saying, the part that no one seems to be pointing out. They're saying, you heard her. All these things, you should have given her a morning text. And now it's become this unattraction. Now she doesn't like you anymore. She's not wrong. You can't really it's pretty difficult, I think, to undo that. Look, the part that no one is talking about, I guess, that they're pointing out is that she's your girlfriend. Your girlfriend's evil. The part that no one's saying is that the reason your girlfriend felt like that and did all that in this, I guess, hypothetical, is because she actually never loved you. She has no love. You kind of have no love either, fellas, but we'll get to that maybe. The mistake the person made in this graph or whatever was agreeing to give this person these morning texts. I'll give you those texts. Okay, that's what you need. You told me your needs. We're communicating now, right? Oh, you communicated to me your needs. You need morning texts. I got you. I thought those kinds of things were supposed to be genuine. You know what I mean? Like, I guess women don't care about that though, huh? I thought you were supposed to just do things out of the kindness of your heart. Like, you really mean it. You really, really love me, right? You really, really love me. Isn't that like a movie? But it's supposed to be genuine. So you already see kind of like the what's illustrated here, the lack of love. She never loved you. It was all feelings. the reason it flipped is because it was all feelings. It was never in a solid, there was nothing solid about that. It's feelings. The reason you can't bring it back is because of the feelings. How is a groveling, please take me back guy gonna get a woman to be attracted to him again? Her again. You see what I'm saying? The only way, you've heard me, I guess, talk about relationships a little bit. And with callers and stuff. The only way men can navigate relationships today is to be men. Is to be men. Don't listen to people telling you what to do. Just seek the kingdom. Okay, don't advice on marriage, advice on how to be with a woman, how to do this and talk like that. All that will be ordered. You'll see exactly what to do, say everything if you just seek the kingdom. Look, I wouldn't advise you to go find a girl, be married. I would just advise you to seek the kingdom. And that's what I mean by be men. That's the only way you're going to navigate all this, by be men. I mean to seek the kingdom. Not alpha male posturing and anyways. Look, it's like if you want to get married, I want to get married, Nick. If you think you're ready, which you're probably not, but then do it. I'm talking mostly to like my peers, my age cohort, I guess, and younger, considering just how out of our depths we are with women and understanding their nature and our own nature and what's really going on, okay? That's why I say you're not ready, probably. But if you think you're ready, then don't go do it. Go discover. Don't listen to me. Go on the date. Go discover. You say you want kids, right? So stop the moaning and try. If you're not ready, you see something's wrong, something's missing, then give up. Work on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, maybe I'm a rambler. But you follow me a little bit. Kind of had to just bring that up, but I just didn't see anybody kind of mentioning that. That whole matrix she drew out is the whole thing. You could scratch the whole thing and say, you're evil. And by the way, scratch the whole thing there too and say, I don't even have to play this game, this matrix of the text and all that. And just be genuine and I guess just deal with things as things come up. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. These relationship stuff, it has its stages. It has its natural progressions. I wouldn't want to mess with all that anyway. So anyways. Help meet. What? Yeah, Lin Yan Chen. Be men equals be sane. Be down to earth or rational. Measured. That's a God pill, Hillary. No more black pills. No such thing as a black pill. Anyways, what are y'all thinking about this? 888-775-3773. Just checking my chat. Checking in with chat. Checking in with chat. You can't always help monetarily. You can subscribe. Hit the like button. Maybe you don't like what you see. Leave a comment. Call. Anyways. Relationships. Where was I? I'm a little lost here. JBP. We'll let the alpha males on Twitter, I guess, we'll leave them with this video and we're done with it, I think, huh? We'll leave. That's bollocks, Nix. What do you mean? What's bollocks? Help me out, man. Be my brother in Christ and help me out. Correct me. Maybe I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. But we're going to leave this video and all this mess to the alpha males on x.com. Everyone's dating. They're talking about dating. I mentioned something interesting about Tinder and Grindr. Anybody even know? People were surprised to hear this. I thought it was kind of a common knowledge, but maybe some of you aren't as on the internet as I am. Dating culture. They made you gay and you didn't even know it right under your nose. It happened right under your noses and you didn't even notice it, like boiled frogs. They made you gay and you didn't even notice. I'm talking about Tinder and Grindr, okay? Tinder, dating app. You know it. It's where you swipe. It's where you swipe to get your, I don't know, order yourself up a woman. You get your Uber Eats, you get your Tinder. It came from Grindr. Grindr is the first dating app to do this. It was the first in the game. It was the OG to gamify relationships and make profiles that you can casually meet. And I don't know what to tell you if it's at its inception, but you got to understand something. The whole thing and the whole culture, Grindr, it was meant to facilitate a practice they even had a name for at a certain time. I guess it's just sex now, but they call it cruising. Casual sex between these gay people, okay? Grindr facilitated this. It's a known thing. This is not a secret. It's where you go to find that, I guess. Grindr, Tinder, they're even similar in name. Tinder only adding, it came along in 2012, a couple years after Grindr. Revolutionized the game. Added sexual orientation feature in 2019, years later after its inception. Then Tinder now allows you to pick your sexual orientation. Gross. So Tinder's going, trying to exemplify its father. It's what fathered it. I don't know what I'm saying. Tinder is Grindr for straight people, they say. Some say. Some actually lament that it's not quite exactly the Grindr for straight people. Some weirdo. I don't know who these people are. Strange people on The Guardian. This website, this news publication, The Guardian. I don't know who this writer is. Some woman, Moira Weigel? Maura Weigel. I don't know who you are. She laments. They, who knows, laments that Tinder is not exactly the straight Grindr and never will be. Why isn't there a Grindr for straight people? What this person, if you read this article, what this person is lamenting is that the straight Tinder, or mainly kind of straight or heteronormative and mainstream Tinder, this writer laments, very strange, laments that the culture on these dating apps that are not gay or LGBTQ oriented, that it's not casual sex. This person even writes and laments and says, why isn't there more public spaces where people can meet for casual sex? This person writes and wonders, why isn't society more sex-addled and animalistic like the gays? Because we gave them Tinder, but they're not using it like the gays. Hey, did you know you can have casual sex? Hello? It's like they don't even know. Maybe Maura Weigel, maybe, just maybe, there's something unique what's happening with this gay stuff. It's quite sexual. It's really not about love. And yeah, that happens between men and women, but the dynamic is different. It's like with men and men to men, the top is ripped off. It's just, let's just be animals. Out of control. And it's just strange, okay? Whatever, Maura. Strange thing to talk about. I wonder what you think about your father. Anyways, gay dating is baked into your cake, folks. I don't know if you've noticed your modern dating scene. You're out here dating, you're having your casual sex. Gay dating has been baked into your scene. Sorry, they made you gay and you didn't even notice it. Right under your noses. If you notice too, as society is more sexualized, and I'm not the only one saying this. Where are the babies? The wombs have dried up. They're killing them. They're aborting them. There's more pornography, whatever. Then everywhere, it's all over. Obscenities, rap music, but people are having less kids. Just like gay people, just like the effects of homosexuality. I don't know. Maybe they really did make you gay. Anyways. What are y'all saying in the chat? All this cess and no babies. What's going on? But the Earth is the most populated it's ever been, though. I guess I'm talking about America. Everything is fake. Haven't you noticed that? The West, the liberal West, the liberated West, the female liberated West, where the women display their sexuality as power and they're free to have more sex than ever, and they're not having babies. You know it's true. The Earth is more populated than ever. We're talking about some other undesirables. That's a joke. I got calls. Let's get to calls. 888-775-3773. Let's get to... Dang. Let me get to Mark out of Los Angeles. Appreciate your call.
Yeah. Hi, Nick. I was just wondering if you had heard...
Are you on speakerphone, Mark, by chance?
I'm sorry?
Are you on speaker?
Wait a minute.
That's better.
1 second. Sorry about that.
No problem. You were saying?
Yeah, I was wondering if you had heard about the Kansas City shooting after the Super Bowl when they had their parade.
For sure, yeah, for sure.
Okay, you know, to this day, they have still not released the race or the identities of the shooters.
For real?
No, they haven't. And it's because they're black. On Facebook Shorts, they had a man talking about it who was attending the parade or whatever you want to call it, you know, the celebration. And he said there were two black men. And he said, you're not going to hear about it because they're black. He said if they were white, like Kyle Rittenhouse, he was a juvenile. They're using the fact that the shooters in KC were juvies as an excuse not to give their race or name. But in the Rittenhouse case, immediately after the shooting, which he was acquitted of, they immediately gave his name and his race. But Ann Coulter, you know, the great Ann Coulter?
Yeah, for sure. I know who Ann is. She's great.
Yeah, she was on the Bill Maher show and with that communist Van Jones. And they asked her, do they have a suspect in the Kansas City shooting? She said, no, but this is before they finally caught up to him. I remember that. Yeah, and she said they weren't white men. And he goes, well, how do you know that? He goes, because if they were white, the media would have announced it immediately.
Yeah, for sure. And it's almost a joke at this point. And it's par for the course. You know, they're saying now this Lindell Mays is suspect who started a GoFundMe. They're saying he may be involved. They come out with the same. You know, you see this black mayor of the area. They'll come out with the same excuses. Oh, we're defending juveniles. What are you, a bunch of conspiracy? There's a bunch of conservatives online saying that we're not releasing them because they're black.
Yeah. Well, then why don't they just tell us who they are? I mean, you know, this is supposed to be a country with a free press, but it's a biased press. It's an anti-white press. And, you know, I just thought I'd bring that up because nobody's really talking about it except on the internet. And I think a lot of people are just going to forget about it. You know, a couple weeks will pass, and we'll all forget about who did the murder in Kansas City. Just like the trans killer in the Christian school, I think it was in Tennessee.
So check this out, Mark. Sorry, go on. They were never what?
They were never going to release his because it was no, actually it was a woman trying to play a man. They wouldn't release her transcript, her what do you call it? You know, when you write up a little storybook before you do your killing. I don't know if it's called a transcript, but they wouldn't put out the manuscript until somebody snuck it out to the media that he was a white hater. Because it was a she. I'm sorry, it was a she trying to be a he.
Oh.
And she was very anti-white, and it was recorded in her manuscript, which snuck out. And you know what? The authorities aren't concerned about. They don't even want to get the person who leaked it to the press. They're more interested in arresting the person who put out her transcripts more than they are anything else. Well, of course, it's dead. You know, the woman that plays man who did the killings.
Right.
It's, you know, he's dead. She's dead now, but I think that transcript should have put out. If you're a homosexual, transsexual, Negro, or any minority immigrant, they're going to let you get away with it. They're going to cover your crime. And I'm not just talking about the media. Even local police departments are so politically correct.
Oh yeah,
they'll suppress
sure.
all that. They'll suppress all that.
Police leaders in these areas, police departments, chiefs, and all that. Time and time again, they act more as politicians, and that's what we're seeing. Where it's people playing politics. That's why we're going to see more of that as they do. They'll defend those that are they'll defend the groups that are, expedient politically. Are you seeing this though about Dominic Miller, Lindell Mays, 18 years old and 23 years old, charged for murder in the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade shooting? These two, it looks like black guys.
Yeah,
there
right.
Just seems to be. It looks like breaking news. I don't know how breaking, but.
Well, the incident happened, 2 weeks ago?
Oh, at this point, yeah.
Breaking.
It was already 2 weeks. Wow.
Yeah.
But it looks like there are some individuals charged there, their names, faces revealed. And
they wouldn't allow Mr. Rittenhouse to go on GoFundMe. They refused to allow him a GoFundMe page, but these monsters are allowed to get funded, by the public, crying racism most likely. But yeah, it's all. I've noticed a correct.
Change in the public conversation, though, a little bit. That's why we can't just. That's why we can't. I mean, I'm just noticed that I'm seeing some of these same events, same moments like this Kansas City shooting and other similar things, and I'll look at the social media commentary, and I'm seeing a lot of, and these are big videos where a majority of the mainstream public are seeing this, and the comments are full of people talking kind of like us. They're like, again, look at these guys. You see what I'm saying? What I'm trying to describe is that we shouldn't be surprised that the media runs like this, but we shouldn't just assume that.
Well, I still think it should be exposed, even when we know what they're doing is evil.
Yeah,
I still think that it should be exposed.
Well, right on.
And so that's basically. One other thing. Did you happen to see the cops in New York arresting these criminal invaders that were riding their little scooters robbing people? Yeah, I just saw it on the internet on Facebook Shorts. The cops, I mean, they really were fighting the cops. They were throwing blows, fists were flying. They were screaming. These are animals. These are savages that Biden brought in to vote Democrat, and they're literally fighting the cops. And President Trump, to his credit, on his interview last night, which I hope you may have watched with Laura Ingraham, he said there's a new category of crime in the United States.
Oh, I did see that.
Did you see that?
Yeah, the migrant crime thing. I don't like that he said migrant, but I gotcha. I'm following him.
Yeah, so that's a new category of crime thanks to Biden, and it's everywhere. I mean, I don't know if Los Angeles is picked up a whole lot of it. We've already got millions of them here, so I don't know if Commie Biden sent any more over here. But I'm sure Gavin Newsom would love it.
It's a mess. More for him. It's truly a mess. Yeah. But we'll see what happens, right? Where it's 2024. We'll see what happens with this one. Mark, man, I appreciate your call as always. Call me again.
Thank you. Bye.
No right on. 888-775-3773. We're going to be getting into some interesting stuff here. They want to talk about Alexei Navalny. You heard of this name already. Maybe you're a little confused. What's going on with that? Why is our media talking about him and they're talking about Trump? And now there's a whole another thing I have to get educated on and Navalny and it's more crap. I think it's a little simpler. We're going to try and make sense of it here in a moment. I got Space Cadet out of Maryland, though. Space Cadet, appreciate your call. You're on the air.
Hi, Nick. How you doing, buddy?
I'm just fine, thanks.
Do you not see my question? Do I need to repeat it?
Yeah, what are you calling in about?
Oh, well, word is that you used to be an atheist, and now you're a Christian, they say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, what? Okay, well, now that you're a Christian, supposedly, when did you become a Christian?
2016.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, 2016. Amazing. Do you remember the moment?
What's up with the hostility? How come you called Joel? How come you called Joel all like, man, I appreciate it, Joel, man. You got I appreciate your advice, man. Da da da. You coming at me with so much hostility. Why can't I get the honey? How come I get the vinegar?
Well, you're a dick. Remember? I told you last time.
See, I thought you were
Right?
trolling. I thought he was just messing around. I don't even know at this point with Space Cadet. I don't know if he's trolling me. I've asked him multiple times to be not so vulgar. I honestly, sincerely thought for a bit there that it was kind of like a joke, and he was kind of like doing like a little bit of a bit for the chat. And I'm like, he doesn't really think I really think I'm a pilot, right? But I think he actually might be like drunk and deranged or something. Space Cadet, man, you really gotta. Maybe I'm wrong. What the heck am I talking about? You're fine in the chat, Space Cadet. No problem with you, man. Maybe not on the calls. Appreciate you in the chat, sir. We're gonna move. We're gonna keep it pushing here. We're gonna keep it pushing. I want to talk about Russia. Anyways, it's the whole pilot thing. I don't know. I guess he really thinks that. At this point, I just don't know. It's too confusing. Jon Stewart, though, is mocking Tucker Carlson. You know, Tucker Carlson, he interviewed Putin in a huge interview, I guess. It's gotten so many views. Something like, you know, Tucker Carlson's interview with Andrew Tate. I read this somewhere. I could be wrong. Tucker Carlson's interview with Andrew Tate is the most watched interview in the whole world, in history. Am I wrong about? Don't quote me on that. But people are saying now Putin's interview might surpass even that. And so he went to Russia. You've seen this. He interviewed Vladimir Putin, and then he went around Russia. He went around to a subway station, like a train station. He went to a supermarket, and he was trying to draw some parallels, make people think about what's going on here. He got a lot of negative attention by American press, though. That he's a traitor. They were calling him all sorts of things. And I'm not saying he was this amazing interviewer, and it was like the situation was just fine for me. That for me was just fine. Like, I don't see any problem with it. Why not hear a couple of things here? And it was quite fascinating, if you agree. It was maybe a little boring if you didn't want to hear the diatribe of history that Putin just pushed that through. You got to understand that was total framing. It was masterful. If boring or maybe ill-timed, I don't know. I'm not the grand critic of debates or interviews. What the heck? I'm just saying it was quite masterful if you think about it. He comes in, he's just like, I'm gonna totally just like a wrecking ball. Just this is the history I'm laying out, and now you got to talk about this. No. Answer to this. Answer to everything I just laid out, and it's like framing the whole thing. He's the undisputed leader of Russia. That's all I got to say. The undisputed leader, Jon Stewart, though, he's this guy, what? I don't even know that much about him. Never really watched his show. I believe he had a show called The Daily Show, I think. He's a liberal. He's a liberal. Late night show. I never thought too much about him. I can't say I watched too much of his stuff. I believe he went away for a bit. He came back to do his show. He's back. He's doing episodes. I don't know, whatever. And I came across a little clip of him talking about Tucker and all that, and I was struck by a couple things. I just wanted to play a little bit of it, and I want to get into this. Russia, Alexei Navalny. We're going to try and make sense of it here, okay? We're going to do it all. We're going to do it all. It's okay, Space Cadet. All is forgiven. All is forgiven. So check it out. Jon Stewart, he's back. Let's watch a little bit of this so that can enter my mind here. What I've been seeing, what I'm thinking about. Let's watch. That's funny, Jon Stewart. It feels a little bit like Stolen Valor. I wanted to show the opening to his clip here where he's all like, he basically in his previous show where he's getting a lot of backlash, apparently. As much as a late night liberal talk show would ever get backlash. I don't even know if they know what that means. Backlash for criticizing Biden and him being old or something. People are now seriously talking about Biden and his mental state. Even the Democrats don't know what's going on with all that. But Jon Stewart's getting some negative attention, apparently. Circle the wagons. This friggin' guy, shut up. And he's like, sorry for calling things out like with free speech with my eyes, like a man. It's like, this guy was like one of the vaccine sycophants. And like Aaron Rodgers, he should be towing the line. These vaccine people are going to get us all killed and blah, blah. Come on, Jon Stewart, really? It feels a little bit, it's funny writing. I'll give it to that. And I think his commentary on Tucker on a couple of things was kind of spot on. Well, I don't know about spot on, but look, it's Stolen Valor, okay? Okay, that's funny, Jon Stewart, fine. That's funny. That's actually funny. I played that clip because it's kind of a fascinating moment, a little reminder of that moment with Putin there, where he talks about Poland in an interesting moment there, which Jon Stewart's like, that's crazy, you crazy person. What, you're not going to challenge that? You're telling me Poland started it? No, I'm no expert, okay, folks? But I find Patrick Buchanan's controversial take on Poland quite interesting and I think well-spoken. Compelling at times. I have to revisit it and to really know, but he has a controversial take. Patrick Buchanan, you may know the name, but how political figures at the time, mostly the British, as well as the basically that Hitler's final demand, okay, because he wanted this Danzig, I believe. This a city-state, I forget what it was, Danzig, where the claim was that there were many Germans there who want to be with Germany. And they had, like, votes, and I believe Patrick Buchanan talks about how the Germans there, 95% German Danzig be returned to Germany as its inhabitants desired, according to Patrick Buchanan, and that this was an absolutely reasonable request, and only a dreadful diplomatic blunder by the British had led the Poles to refuse the request, thereby provoking the war. The widespread later claim that Hitler sought to conquer the world was totally absurd, and the German leader had actually made every effort to avoid war with Britain or France. Indeed, he was generally quite friendly toward the Poles. You know, a thread you might want to pull on Patrick Buchanan there. I tend to find his commentary on that interesting. Glenn Danzig. Anyways, that's the wrong Danzig. But we got liberal Jon Stewart here. Let's get to the part that he was talking about Tucker. This is the part that was also interesting.
Grocery cart escalator. An escalator for the grocery cart, and the doors open automatically. Oh, Mother Russia.
I was giving him crap for that, too. The subways are absolutely clean. Absolutely. You can't deny that. It's an absolute argument. I was giving Tucker crap for that, too, when I played this first, when this came out. Tell me you've never seen a grocery cart go up an escalator, man? I'm just...
Bargain, unless you realize Russians earn less than $200 a week.
Yeah, and that's a fair statement from Jon Stewart when we're really trying to compare, if we're really going to compare quality of life or something like that. If that's true, I don't know about the Russians that deeply and their economic status and how much they earn, but I'm hearing that number, not just Jon Stewart saying that. And if it's true, well, then our quality of life is better here, straight up. So let's not quip about that, I guess. You know, you got to love the order, though. You got to love the order. Those subways, the shopping carts go back where they go. But I know it's a lot of buildup for this clip right here. Appreciate the patience. Jon Stewart tells us why they're different. Why the subways why they're different, and his take on the situation with Tucker. All right, Jon Stewart, appreciate that. Fascinating moment. The fight is between woke and non-woke. And that's why they like him. And Russia's an ally to that. You know, Jon Stewart's not wrong that most Republicans, Christians, conservatives, Americans, they're blind to what's really going on. They think it's woke versus unwoke. They think it's man versus woman. They think it's black versus white. They think it's Republican versus Democrat. And it's none of those things. Just to add to that, though, Jon Stewart, the reason why this is happening is because it's good versus evil. The fight is a spiritual battle. And he's playing this game. He's playing this game, saying that's the difference. That urinal cake subway, we love it. We love that urinal cake subway where deranged blacks are pushing people onto the subway tracks, and we love it because that's the cost of freedom. Anybody actually believe that? I bet you there's a lot that do. And I guess I understand it in that we enjoy our personal, individual lives, still remain largely comfortable. Even, let's be real, folks, homeless people, all the way through, largely, comfort for them. But we are largely comfortable in our lives. We're comfortable, and we're fine. And so it feels like freedom. But I think it's a fine thing to do some of these comparisons where, really, they're saying this Alexei Navalny guy, he's this Russian opposition leader, if you don't know. He died in custody with the Russian forces, okay? In the custody of Russia. And they're saying Putin had this guy killed, Alexei Navalny. He's the opposition. They had him go. They're really not. They're saying they killed. Look, I don't know if that's true. That's what they're speculating. Our media is speculating. And so I want to get into that. But this price of freedom crap that Jon Stewart was saying, I don't know if I can even put it into better words, but I hope you're understanding here. That's just not true. That's the difference. Okay, so just accept it. Accept your filth and all the mess in your country because you're free. Right on, Jon Stewart. Like, it sounds like crap. It sounds like fantasy. Hopefully we can illustrate this a little bit moving forward. Alexei Navalny, leader of the Russian opposition, opposing Vladimir Putin's 33-year rule or 24-year? I forget the number, but it's a lot. He's leader of this Russia of the future, they call themselves. It's a party, an opposition party, unregistered. Don't know how much that matters. I'm not too into or know too much about Russian politics. But this is Alexei Navalny, who is now dead. But that's the party he led. Russia of the future. This party's platform stood for the decentralization of power in Russia, cutting the number of government officials, and a number of things like that. Reducing corruption, they say. Looking into them further, they have interesting values. The party adheres to liberalism, the Wikipedia says, along with certain ideas of the welfare state. So it was like this liberal party. So I guess it's happening in Russia too. You know, Russia has an immigration problem too. They have a problem with the Muslims. It's kind of there's a lot of things going on in the world. You may not understand. The party points out that Russia is part of European civilization in which freedom, self-respect, human responsibility play an important role. So the liberals, they're a bunch of liberals. And they love the welfare state, apparently. So Russia of the future, what's going on now, though, that I'm noticing is he's this total Western media establishment darling. This guy's like, they killed him. Biden is coming out. He's blaming Putin. He's like, we're looking into it, how we're going to respond. We don't know what we're going to do. And he froze in that speech, by the way. He had like a brain fart. I don't know what it was. I hope I am the last to endure this. Alexei Navalny's devastating prison letters plastered all over Daily Mail. CNN, he's a hero. Nikki Haley calling him a hero. Death of a hero, Alexei Navalny. Get this. This is rich. Nikki Haley said the death of hero, Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny demands a response from Donald Trump. She said, outspoken Navalny had died at the hands of Putin, and her former boss needed to answer to that. Help me understand that. So Haley is basically, she's basically flirting with this Russia operative conspiracies that the mainstream media was putting on Trump. Haley made her call while speaking with reporters outside her rally. She really is an establishment darling too, by the way. And then he was arrested, and now Putin has done to him what Putin does to all of his opponents. He kills them, she said. And Trump needs to answer that. Does he think Putin killed him? Does he think Putin was right to kill him? And does he think Navalny was a hero? It's pretty ridiculous. So he's this total darling in our media. Makes me suspicious. I see his wife get plastered everywhere. Alexei Navalny's tearful widow. Now, so she's supposed to be picking up the mantle. You know, they're plastering her everywhere. She's going to keep it going. She's saying, Putin, you will answer for what you did. And I'm sitting here wondering, as a layman, taking it in a little bit, CNN saying this is a likely response. This is a likely, the opposition will likely continue their writing. And CNN even writes about this, suggesting that Congress will be more willing to send money to Ukraine. It's really quite interesting. Let me put it together for you. Doesn't this seem like a bad response for Putin a little bit? It seems like a shooting yourself in the foot a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong. Someone can correct me. 888-775-3773. If you listen to the interview, though, with Tucker, Putin is pretty darn sure that this war with Ukraine, it ends. When the funding ends, the war ends. Many agree. Taking in CNN's comments there, you see this kind of Ukraine aid scam come together. Some of you might remember last week, there was a briefing from the House Intelligence Committee concerning a national security threat. If you remember, the headlines broke, the news revealed that it was this possible Russian destabilizing space capability. And so it got headlines, it had emotions running, national security. It was a matter of national security. Interestingly enough, though, no real alarm, no true alarm. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, actually, he kind of spills the beans when he addresses this same news, and he says he suggested to the public not to worry about this threat. And then after some pause added, and this is why it's more important to continue funding to Ukraine. Oh, all of a sudden, that's this space nuke. There's a space nuke. We got to give him money. Okay, interesting. What's interesting about this, too, is there is a outer space treaty that bans the use of, that bans orbiting nuclear weapons. The world has agreed to this, or the big countries in the world have agreed to this, okay? And when U.S. officials were asked about this 1967 Outer Space Treaty, they openly acknowledged there is no evidence indicating that Russia is abandoning this treaty. A little bit of inside baseball. It's kind of cool. When you really want to know, when the levers of media and political power want to know, wait, is this really happening? Yeah, you can listen to the fake news, or you can see the people checking, is the treaty still good? Because if the treaty's still good, most likely the Russians aren't doing what they told us they're doing. What our own Congress told us they're doing. Maybe for some money scams. Nikki Haley says, we can support Ukraine indefinitely at a minimal cost to ourselves. It's incredible. And minimal cost to ourselves, only to the Ukrainians. Yeah, we can keep Russia in a war, make them deplete their resources. It's a win-win for everybody. Yeah, except all the dead Ukrainians. Okay. We don't care about that, right? Anyways, are there any level heads? Is there anyone asking the questions that need to be asked? Is what NATO is doing more likely or less likely to bring war? Would admitting Ukraine into NATO, is it more likely or I just want some rational kind of a discussion on this, I guess. So they're telling you, Navalny, I just think it's rich. I think it's kind of an awesome move that Trump did here, by the way. He totally hooked his own story up with Navalny here. And the news, the mainstream media, they don't like it. Trump co-opts Navalny's legacy. His legacy as smokescreen for his own legal mores. Alexei Navalny died as a political martyr, writes CNN. Wow, but that's not stopping Donald Trump from co-opting his legacy, suggesting false equivalence. So he's saying, "Hey, you guys are treating me like an Alexei Navalny over here." I love it. It's kind of like when he says, "You're being racist towards me." He's just flipping it on them. I like it. How is America any better? I think it's a fair question if you ask me. Anyways, that's kind of what I think what's going on with Navalny and all that. I don't really know about Russian politics, but our media and these evil people seem to really care. And they love them. And they kind of need stuff to be happening over there. They kind of need evil boogeyman things to be happening over there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with all that. You know, since you were talking about Putin, Russia, there's another interview with Putin that's quite fascinating, where he brought up an interesting fact, or I don't know if this is contested, but it was an interesting thing that Putin brought up. Okay? Speaking of wars and all that, Ukraine, Russia, the world's a little unstable, I guess. Israel, Gaza. Fyodor Dostoevsky. Anybody know this name that much? Of Tsarist Russia. One of the greatest European writers, apparently. You know, he has this book, Crime and Punishment. I never read it. I tried. Years ago, how old was I? It was the strangest thing. I'm not even a reader. And I'm trying to slog through this heavy book that I wasn't even understanding. I don't know what. I guess I wanted to be smart or something. There was, he writes about some interesting things here that Putin brought up in an interview, okay, about the Bolsheviks and Jewish people. And it was so interesting about anger, about many things here, but really about anger and evil. Dostoevsky, this writer, Putin makes a remark on how in Diary of a Writer, Dostoevsky recognized the plight of the Jews at the time, who were oppressed, this is his words, who were sometimes oppressed or mistreated by the overwhelmingly Russian majority. You know, I heard about stuff like that, where these majorities oppressed, you know, people that were different, but the Jews specifically. He claimed they greatly exaggerated their suffering, and he also candidly speculated how they themselves would treat Russians if the shoe were on the other foot. I say this because it's an interesting look at history and anger and how it really explains everything. Dostoevsky died in 1881, but his prophetic words came to pass in 1917 when the Bolsheviks, whose leadership was overwhelmingly Jewish, seized power. And they established their Soviet regime. I always heard about that too, the Soviet regime and how many they really killed. And so it was in this interview that was interesting where Putin stated that the Bolsheviks were 80 to 85% Jewish. And that they were full of these, what did he call it? This ideology, this mistake in ideology or something that caused them to do these horrible things to even their own Jews. They did it to even other Jews. A whole bunch of them died. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Someone could correct me, but you know. And so I bring this up because the Soviet government, right? They did all this killing. They talk about all this thing. They talk about slavery, colonialism, genocides. It's like everyone did it, apparently. Looks like the white man. Looks like everyone done had their genocide. And anger fuels the world. what was done to the Bolshevik, what was done to the Jews, they were happy to do it to the Russians. Whatever evil was done unto them. And anger keeps everything going, fueling everything. Fearful of another, Hitler, fearful of another Stalin. You hear it all the time, but in different words. But when you wake up to it, you kind of like, you see that fear and anger is fueling and controlling everybody. And if you don't think that people hate you, you're crazy. Like, they're open about it sometimes. I'm going to show you something here in a moment. These people who are coming over, immigrants, they call themselves, they're open. They're like, we are here to invade and replace you. And I don't know too much about all this history stuff, but look, it's just stuff I'm thinking about. Anger explains it all. Anger is evil. It's the nature of Satan. And you have to forgive. Okay. I could be wrong, Kevin Howe. I don't know. Look. Dostoevsky. Maybe I could try again, huh? Maybe I could try again. Crime and Punishment. What's that even about? Big old heavy book. I'm not a reader. I'm just Anchor Baby. Nick tried to read. Every race is responsible for the spoils of war. What do you mean by that? Delighted to be here. War is hell. Anger and envy. Absolutely. List of big books Nick hasn't read. Almost as long as list of movies Hake hasn't seen. Hey, my movie list is big too. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's see what we're going to get into here, because I was trying to express to you how all this like anger that fuels the world that I'm talking about, it gets passed down. It gets passed down. It gets all these fancy names, and they call it all sorts of things. They call it reparations, retribution for all your colonialism. I don't know. They call it all sorts of names, but it's just what? It's just anger being passed down. They call it history, even. They even give it that word. They call it history. This is my history. This is my people's history, and you did this to my peoples. And that's why we're going to invade you. There's a post that's going crazy viral. I don't know what, 3.7 million. So someone on X.com, Ashley Simon, chairman of Britain First. Oh, check this out. This is Ashley Simon, I don't know. She's the chairman of Britain First, election candidate, mother, patriot. And that's an interesting thing to write, Britain First. I mean, nowadays, you don't really, to just call yourself America First is already too far for many, many people. So it's an interesting thing to call yourself, Britain First. Ashley Simon shared a image. I don't know if she generated this. It looks to be AI generated, and it's getting a lot of attention. And she writes, "Is this the future you want for your daughters and granddaughters?" And it's like, it looks to be like a white lady, a white girl and a bus holding a British flag, like that's the Union Jack, right? Surrounded by small eye, like, you know, they're doing that shiny-eyed look with the big smile. They look to be of Ilhan Omar's ilk. They look to be, I don't know, Ethiopian, Somalian, I don't know. And it looks kind of like a depiction of modern-day London and Britain and stuff like that. And so I get it. She's being bombastic. She's getting attention here. 17.5 million views. It's like, dang, Ashley. She's saying it and doesn't care. We don't want these Muslims. And you've seen some of the news if you don't know what I'm talking about. It's a mess over there with a lot of these migrants. They call it migrants. Now they're calling it, now Trump is saying it's migrant crime, new category. It's incredible that's even a category with these leaders. the incidence of rape, for example, in some of these groups coming in. And the leaders think that's okay. That's an acceptable amount of rape. You know what? That's marginal, acceptable. Let them in. Keep the borders open. Oh, you're telling me how much rape is happening? We can live with that. So this post got retweeted by another person with an Arab-sounding name, no picture, not sure who this person is. 𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒎, F-A-A-R-A-X. 𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒎. This cover picture looks rather foreign. Don't know who this person is, but they retweeted this picture with their own caption. You came to our country, drew our borders, and pitted man against his brother. You deserve everything that comes your way. And I'm, like I said earlier, I'm just trying to point out this fact. Anger is evil, and it gets passed down. And these people, they think these things. They heard about colonialism. They were taught about it in school. I don't know. They called it colonialism, but it was passing down anger. Unless you're teaching it and telling people to forgive and that was in the past, and the only thing that exists is today. This, right? Other than that, you're teaching anger. You're passing down anger. And this �𝒂𝒂𝒎 person, I think, describes what I think many people deep down feel or understand. That they kind of can do whatever they want, and anything that happens to the white countries, European countries, the West, that's coming to them because they colonialized and did horrible things. And yeah, you can point to some pretty modern, contemporary instances of some, you could call it pretty evil, meddling America. But even then, the world has enjoyed incredible things. Even if it's this crazy liberal order, the world has enjoyed riches and many things. Look, I'm rambling at this point, but I just have to point this out. That anger is evil. It gets passed down. You think you're just letting in these people just want to work and have families. But they also, even if they're not committing crimes, they're not exactly the rapists and all that, they share some of this racial gripe. They share some of this anger that was passed down. So, just letting you know, 888-775-3773. I see your calls. Let me get to your calls. Yep, let's get to Rick. I got Rick out of Hampton, VA. Appreciate your call.
My brother Nick, man, what's going on with you, man?
All is well, Rick. Thanks for your call.
No problem, man. I love y'all shows, man. Well, I want to say about reparations, man. You remember Sunny hosting Off the View?
I know of her.
Yeah, but anyway, to come to find out she was pro-reparations, man. I mean, pro-reparations. And now, all of a sudden, she discovered that her ancestors had slaves.
Oh, man, I think I saw something about that. Go on.
Yeah, then she come around and say, oh, my God, that's just part of life. I said, well, I think you need to pay reparations.
That is funny. Yeah, she owes. Yeah, you're right.
I wish I'd been on that show. I said, oh, that's a good discovery there, Sonny.
How much are you paying?
How much you going to pay for reparations? Yeah. Your ancestors had slaves. I mean, you pro-slave, you for reparations, so you need to pay out, so you don't get any reparations.
What'd she say about that? I forget, because I feel like I saw a couple seconds of the clip, but it was revealed, and she talks about it. She was like, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible, but that's part of life. So I'm like, okay, part of life. So since you campaigning for pro-reparations, that means you need to put yourself on the list to pay it.
I'm with you, Rick. I second that notion. It's time to pick.
I wish I'd been on that show, because I would have definitely threw it in her face.
I don't really want to pick it. I don't really want to protest. That's not really something I want to do lately. But if there's something I'm going to do, I'm going to stand beside Rick with a picket. I'm saying, Sonny, where's your when are you going to pay your reparations?
Yes, you owe reparations. Reparations now.
Right on, Rick.
But anyway, just a point, man. I mean, like, everybody's for this pro, but unfortunately, man, I think with these politicians, because, they want to keep a chokehold on the black community, because the reason being, because they're the we're the easiest group to control because by us being angry.
Damn.
So you have the liberal politicians, all colors, white, black, whoever, long stay liberal. Then you got urban radio. Then you got your black politicians. Then you got your black organizations, the Urban League, NAACP. Then you got the public school system that's constantly trying to control, but they have a chokehold on it because that's the easiest group to control. Because most time, other races tend to wake up, so they can't count on them. Not like they do the black vote. Because the black vote, they vote for Democrats. Well, Democrats 90% of the time.
That is so well said, Rick. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That sets up my following segment 100%. It's the anger that's holding them back. That's why they can't see.
Right. That's why people can't control them. That's why they keep that chokehold on the black community because they're easier to control.
What a mess! It's a mess, and the messiest, craziest part of it is how it doesn't have to be that way. If they just turn away from the anger, it doesn't have to no reparations, and you don't have to no apologies and groveling and even all the other stuff. I don't know, segregation. I don't know what they're talking about now. No, you just have to turn away from the anger.
What? And look at Fannie Willis down there coming to court with all that attitude. And I'm glad they pushing back on it, too. I don't care what the attitude is. If you're innocent, you'll come to court humbly to prove your case.
I heard someone describe her face as liar face, where her eyes are all wide, but her mouth stays still and open. Like she looks like the top half of her face is surprised and shocked, like as if her bottom half of her face should be agape in awe and shock, but it isn't. It's just still and stone-faced. Some people call that liar face.
You know what? She knows she's guilty, but see, by her ego not admitting it, it goes further and further. They keep digging more and more and more stuff. And for example, like every time now they get those secret text messages. I wonder what they say because the judge gonna make a decision off them text messages.
Dang, Rick. Dang, shouldn't have gone after Trump. That's what you get.
Hey,
going after God's son. Anyways, go ahead.
Hey, you know what? If I was somebody done the same thing, got them text messages, you sit up there asking me, man, for nothing really. You up here just trying to help push your agenda. And that's what they use mostly black folks for, to push these liberal agendas. And like I said, most time they use blacks to push evil. Do you remember what Ketanji had, the Supreme Court black justice?
Mm-hmm.
Time they got her sworn in, the first vote she had was abortion.
Oh, that's true. That is so true. I remember that.
Yep, that was her first vote she voted was abortion. Destruction.
Man, Rick, thank you for that. It sets up my segment here because it seems some people are saying that blacks are waking up there. This pain is too great with what's going on with immigration and a couple of things here. But I got to say, and I don't mean to say, I say this with understanding that I don't think so. And I think that's all just wishful thinking, and it's not going to change. And this goes for everybody, not just blacks, until they turn away from that anger.
That's it.
So I appreciate that, Rick.
Blacks are having a hard time doing it, and I won't believe that they waking up until they show me the money. So that means they go to the polls this coming November. If Trump gets 30% of the black vote, I say that they waking up. Well, if it's still around 95% for the Democrats, they still in a diabetic coma.
Well said, Rick. We're going to watch for that one on 2024. Thank you for that.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Right on. Call me again, Rick.
Well, all right. Love y'all. Be blessed, guys. Be good.
Right on. Very cool. 888-775-3773. Are they waking up, though? Not all, but most. I've met and spoken to many myself. So it is true. God exists. You naysayers, they'll never get it. Look, they voted in Brandon Johnson. These people are never going to wake up. Well, you naysayers, maybe don't say never, because you sound like an atheist. I've met them. I've talked to them. But some are saying in a grander scale, they may be waking up because there's just New York. They're criticizing New York Mayor Eric Adams. You're not doing anything for us. You're bringing in all these immigrants. They're mad at Brandon Johnson. Even though they got rid of Lori Lightfoot, but just brought in more of the same. We'll get to that. They keep saying these things. Well, what are you doing for us? What are you doing for us? Well, and people are saying, right on, man. Blacks are waking up. I think the blacks are waking up. So check it out. This video is going viral to kick this segment off. I believe this is I think this is a Fox. This is a Fox News panel. And this woman is asking New York Mayor Eric Adams, but what about our communities? Let's watch.
This is a pigeonhole. This is a sign to this mayor. Right now, your people are looking at you. You have an obligation to your own black community to make sure we have our needs met. Every other demographic takes care of their communities. Chinese, Italian, Jewish. When it comes to communities of color, specifically black, it seems as though they get paralyzed. Like, you have to speak to the narrative. We put you in position to help us. This will definitely affect any elections going forward.
Real quickly, Tiffany.
By the way, if you don't know, the bottom chyron there says, New York City Mayor scraps plan to use luxury apartment complex to house migrants.
What about Joe Biden? Because he supports the same stuff as well. Do you think there's a price for him as well?
Of course.
Or just the mayor?
No, both. Both. It's time for action. It's time. We voted for you. I voted for Biden. I voted for Mayor.
Right on. Biden voters are waking up. They're going Trump.
Adams. It's time for action.
It's time for action. Tiffany Fulton, Harlem resident. The blacks are waking up. It's happening. I don't mean to be such a party pooper. You know, she's saying all these others, they care for themselves. The Jews, the Chinese. I forget what she said. I wonder what she thinks about the whites, if the whites care for themselves. Because I don't know if it really feels like that. Whites care for America, and they see a lot of people as Americans who, quite frankly, shouldn't be seen as Americans, and they treat them just like them, in my opinion. I had some Mexicans tell me the other day, I was talking about Trump. I was like, let's go Trump. And these Mexicans were like, you know these white people, they're just going to see you as white when they see that your last name is Gonzalez. And I'm like, man, that's the most... And so does every Mexican, and so does every race, probably worse than whites. If there's anyone who's so kind is that they've let in all these people to just pilfer from America, it's the whites. Just saying. It's just funny what she's saying. Why aren't you protecting us? All these other races, they care for their own community. Wake up call, lady. Blacks don't care about their community. They don't love each other. They have no love. Look at their communities. It's a mess. They're killing each other. It's a mess in America. Look, in a lot of places. We're talking about the blacks right now. And it's a mess. An absolute mess. Guess what? Sorry, lady. That's because these Jews, these Chinese people, and I'm not saying they have love for each other, but they have this identity thing it's politically and monetarily expedient at times. If you just bunch up, you have more power and you have more wealth. It works out sometimes. And by the way, these people, they're coming in, they're bunching together, they're getting the welfare, they're using the welfare to buy assets. I'm not saying that that's moral and that's a good thing. It's a mess. It seems like every group and person is just seeing what they can get from America. That being said, who's stopping the blacks from doing the same? Get your benefits, get the assets, do what these people you're mad about are doing. So they're saying they're waking up. Black Chicagoans slam mayor, that Brandon Johnson mayor, for replacing them with migrants, demanding reparations. Oh, there it is. Let's watch.
Chicago and Illinois government, listen to me and listen to me clearly. Like, for real, tune the fuck in. For real. I'm telling y'all right now, y'all finna start a fucking riot. And I do mean a real fucking riot.
Ooh, sorry.
Mayor Brandon,
I should have bleeped that. My bad.
Better fucking listen. We are sick of y'all shit. Explain to me how it is that you close down 5 schools because you say that there's no state or city government funding to keep the schools open for the public, but somehow, some way, y'all got the fucking the money to open up 2 of those schools to the Ukrainian refugees and 2 of the other schools to the motherfucking Venezuelan refugees. And our government is giving more to them than they will ever give to the people who was born here. It's really starting to piss us off. Oh, and Mayor Brandon, hi, how are you? We coming for your ass.
You voted for him.
People not to vote for your ugly, four-eyed ass, but somehow, someway, y'all got that $9,000 going to each one of these refugee families, and guess what the fuck happened? They buying up every fucking thing.
Look at her face. That's the face you should give yourself. Why are you buying up everything? And she's like, they're getting $9,000. Why are we getting $9,000? It's for the Gibbs. It's for the what can I get? What a mess. It's about the hookup. And she's really no different than these immigrants. She just wants the hookup. So, hey, why are you giving it to them? You're supposed to be giving it to us. Sorry. They're moving on. I don't know what to tell you, blacks. And so, yeah, I wouldn't call it waking up. Waking up is realizing you're wrong. It's not about what you can get. It's not about seeing what's right in politics or even voting for Trump and voting the right way. It's about seeing that you're wrong and overcoming your hell in your world. And that's waking up. And nothing else is, everything other than that is, I don't know, information and stuff going on. Chicago activists bashing Mayor Brandon Johnson for trying to replace blacks. But what they want is reparation. Here's the thing, though. I thought you guys liked it like this. You guys are like, why are you closing the schools? And they're getting so much stuff and $9,000, and you guys aren't spending any money for the people that are born here. I'm sorry, I don't remember you clamoring before. Last I remembered, you guys liked it like that. Last I saw, you guys liked your neighborhoods like that and all this mess. Oh, now you care about the schools. Okay, that's rich. That's rich. Now you care about the schools and the money. Where's the money going? Hey, that's corruption. That's rich. That's rich. I did not do any such thing. Couples liked. What a mess. (888-775-3773). There's no way your number is blocked, Karen. Anyways, what are you guys saying in the chat? Great, my ears are bleeding now. I'm sorry. I think I have a coffee here. I believe I have some coffees and super chats. We got Chris with the super chat. Thank you. We got Mayna with the super chat, says, who cares about the blats? Not me. Well, you guess you shouldn't care, but you gotta love. You don't need me to tell you that, right? I'm just being a mama. Carver with a coffee. Thank you. Says, buy me. Says, Dofs Doihu? Nick, we all know there are only 4 books ever written worth reading. Number 1, the Bible. Number 2, The Art of the Deal, Donald Trump. Number 3, The Antidote, Jesse Lee Peterson, right on. And number 4, The Pilot's Hot Dog, Tales of Forbidden Love in Sky by Karen Williams. Oh, Karen Williams. We love Karen Williams, right? Amazing stories. You're missing it on Fridays. You're missing the salacious moments on our Friday Nick streams. If you're not subscribed, if you haven't liked the notification bell, what are you doing? What are you even doing? You're missing out. Whew. Anyways, what's the chat saying right now before we do our final thing here? There really isn't much more I want to talk about. There was this clip with Ben Crump to, I guess, maybe tie this segment off on black culture and the definition of crime. I think I want to show you this just to fill up the last few minutes of the show here. Not sure, Karen. So why when I call, Sean can't hear me? I'm really not sure, Karen. 888-775-3773. There should be no reason why your call is not coming through, especially if it works elsewhere. Oh, yeah, Carver, you forgot. You know what book you forgot to put in the list? You forgot number 5, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Steve Harvey. Incredible. Hey, what's up, Zenny? Come back home to Canada. How's Canada lately, man? Dang. But yeah, I think I'll show you this Ben Crump clip in a moment here, just so we could close off. Sean is a stonewaller. Someone has to be. The conspiracy. Someone's keeping Karen off the phones. Let my people go. Maybe they are on to Karen. Funny stuff. Sorry, my chat's saying interesting things. Okay. I think that's fine. Bruh, I still can't believe you said that. He's good at winning friends and influencing people, right? It's not that unbelievable. It's not that much of a stretch. Okay, you guys don't have to be that hard on me. 888-775-3773. Ben Crump, MSNBC contributor, suggests redefining crime to accommodate black culture. I've seen this shared a lot. And a lot of people are wondering, what do you say to that? How do you fix something like this? There's just no there's no fixing it. There's just no hope. I'm not here telling you to have hope. That doesn't sound real. But just leave a little space. Look, Ben Crump, and if you don't know who I'm talking about, Ben Crump, he's an attorney. He's what does he call himself? A civil rights attorney, civil rights lawyer? He's a lawyer he's an ambulance chaser, okay? He follows these shootings and different things that involve black people and white cops or other things that he can leverage for his personal gain and evil games to get anger going. There's money in there. Accusing of racism and all that. Ben Crump, he's, besides obviously the usual suspects, Al Sharpton here. Speaking of books and Jesse Lee Peterson, if you haven't read The Antidote, you'll know everything you need to know about Al Sharpton and other books he's written. Of course, he would be beside Al Sharpton. Here, this Black Lives Matter attorney, Ben Crump, is in this playing pool. So I'm stalling here. I'm trying to get my volume thing going. Let's hope that it works. That doesn't look like it worked. What the? So it looks like you people can hear what my computer is doing, but I can't. That's a good thing I know what the clip says, I think. What? That's so strange. Hold on. Basically, we have it set up so that this computer in front of me, if I ever show you clips and all that, I can obviously hear it myself too. So that, oh, maybe this is it right here. So that I can react alongside with you. Nope, that's not it. Oh, darn. Okay, how about I play the clip and you guys just hear it? Ben Crump, I already heard it. Wait a second. Maybe this is it.
Change the definition.
I did it. All right, sorry about that, folks. Let's watch Ben Crump. How about it?
Definition of we can get rid of all.
Let me turn that down. Sorry.
The crime in America overnight.
Let's play that again. One more time. Okay, we got this. Ben Crump. We can get rid of all crime in America, he says.
We can get rid of all the crime in America overnight, just like that. And people ask how, Attorney Crump?
How, Attorney Crump? I'm sorry, I talked over it. How, Attorney Crump? I really hope people really do address him like that, because that's the funniest thing. And then when he tells stories, he likes to make sure people know. That's how people refer to me. Hey, Attorney Crump, can you tell me what's going on, Attorney Crump? Huh? Hey, Attorney Crump, what do you got to say about what's going on in America?
Attorney Crump, change the definition of crime. Of course. If you get to define what conduct is going to be made criminal, you can predict who the criminal is going to be.
It sounds like we're criminal, though.
Yeah.
Our existence is criminal.
But they made the laws. They make the law to criminalize our culture.
To fit us.
Black culture.
So contrived, says Hake, playing pool. Yeah, what are they doing to do this man stuff? We're men playing pool.
I mean, and so when I think of Eric Garner, I always think of
a bunch of men blaming and complaining, thinking they're, put the pool sticks down, okay? Next, they're going to pick up cigars and whiskey.
Criminalize our culture.
To fit us.
Black culture. I mean, and so when I think of Eric Garner, I always think of stuff like that. Lucy cigarettes.
I did nothing. We sit here the whole...
Damn, Lucy cigarettes? Oh, man, that did not kill Eric Garner, okay? He got himself killed by way of Big Macs and resisting arrest. A deadly combination, folks. Big Macs and resisting arrest. Heart plaque and resisting arrest, deadly combo.
My business. What are you talking about? You watch me do what? Who does sell cigarette to? Don't touch me. Not touch me.
Guy lost his life. Yeah, and then George Floyd was trying to buy cigarettes and so forth. So you have to think about.
He did not die because he was trying to buy cigarettes. That is so evil, Ben Crump. He was just trying to buy cigarettes.
The profiling.
Let's move on from that one quick.
With the profilers for pretextual reasons.
You've heard this too before, right? Like, oh, the crack epidemic, that they cracked down on black people was really a racial thing.
Profilers for pretextual reasons. And it happens every day, Al. They will come and say, you can't wear baggy pants.
Right.
Make that a crime.
Right.
You can't have milk cartons in your yard.
Right.
Make that a crime.
Right.
You know what is a crime, Ben Crump? You know what's happening? For example, Ben Crump. Make that, watch, next thing you know, they're going to make baggy pants a crime. Next thing you know, they're going to make black skiing a crime. Believe it, you better believe it, that's what's coming. You heard these men talk, these so-called men talk this way. Ben Crump, I don't know if you know, it's like illegal in some, I think, to go around misgendering and using, and Islamophobia is illegal in Britain and stuff like that. I could be wrong. I know it is in Canada, for example. And these are these white countries, and you can't speak freely and say these Muslims shouldn't be here. Next, they're gonna outlaw baggy pants. They're already doing that, but not to blacks. Anyways, I just had to point that out. People are saying, how do you fix this? There's no coming back from that. I'm not telling you to have hope. I'm just saying leave space, because anger is evil, but anger can be overcome. And that's the explanation to this. Judgmental. They can't explain why is it that blacks are in their position and doing so badly. Well, it must be all this. Not a shred of repenting, not a shred of self-examination, because it's difficult. And who does that? Angry people. Angry people can't help but do that. So I'm just saying, leave some space. You can wake up. None of that was bleeped. Okay, maybe I could have done a better job with the bleeping of one of those clips earlier. Yeah. Sean, anyways, let's get to, maybe I can make a call work. Maybe I can make a call work here in the last few minutes of the show. We got CSAL, Arizona. Thank you. You're on the air.
Hey, Nicolas. I just am calling because I watched your guys' burger, Wagyu, Japanese Wagyu burger clip the other day.
Nice. Where'd you watch that?
It was on it was on your, who was it? Was it your stream? Somebody's
was
stream.
It live? Was it live on the Hake Report?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I was asking because I was wondering if the longer video Go on, 𝒏𝒊𝒂𝒎. We had a Wagyu burger taste test on the Hake Report.
Right. So my question is, Hake said something like there was going to, like he was putting it up somewhere. I think you have to pay or something. So I wanna watch the whole thing, and I don't know where it's at.
I don't know where it is either. Sorry. Maybe Hake can give me some info. I don't know if he's posted that yet. But there's kind of a longer video where it's the whole trip. We went to Mount Baldy and we saw the snow and we cooked the burgers. I thought it was a pretty nice video.
Right.
Some experimental editing, but I think essentially you might want to watch for that on the Hake Report. Just maybe some patience. I think eventually you might see it on his channel.
I think it's super cool too that there's not a lot of editing. Like that's what's becoming popular now.
Yeah.
People want to feel like the raw footage.
Nice. I think you'll enjoy this. It was quite fun.
Yeah, it was super cool. So if you guys can start doing that more often, that would be so nice.
That would be cool. Man on the Streets. We got a couple things happening. Hopefully, I think this year. But listen, yeah, watch for that. Hopefully, we could put that out. I think a lot of people want to see that.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Thank you, Nick.
No problem. 𝒏𝒊𝒂𝒎. Call me again.
Okay, bye.
Wagyu is awesome. Hey, guess what? When you grind up Wagyu, it's still absolutely delicious and makes the best burgers ever. I got Jamie. Is this Jamie out of Georgia?
Yeah, it's Jamie out of Georgia. What's going on, man?
What's up, Jamie? Appreciate your call. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good, man. Just sitting here watching you. I'm watching you, watching you.
Right on. Very cool.
Hey, that video you were just playing with Al Sharpton, the race pimp.
Yep.
All of them up there complaining about these black gentlemen that got they died from their interactions with the police. They died because they didn't comply, and they put up fights.
100%.
Don't
let me cut you off.
The big one, the George Floyd one, was they said something about cigarettes with him too, and he was passing counterfeit money, and then argued with the cops for 30 minutes to get in the car. Me or you couldn't do that. We would have been done snatched up and yanked and put in the car.
Yep.
So I don't agree with that. What do you think about what's going on at the border?
Well, on what you just said, it's more of that mind reading and no blame for the blacks. It's pretty evil because that also means that you have no love for them and you're happy to see them go further deeper into hell. Because you don't want to.
I won't.
Not you, but anyone who's saying, "Oh, George Floyd and these people didn't deserve." No, they forfeited their lives when they acted the way they did, in some sense. But you were asking about the border. It's a mess, man. It's an absolute mess. It's not just a mess, though. It's an existential threat to America, the America that many people who call me they know and love growing up, and the America I've known in the time I've been around.
Well, a lot of the black community is waking up, seeing that these people that are coming across the border are now getting better treatment from the government. And normally when illegals come into the country, the black community is affected first by these illegals. And look, they're putting them up in hotels. The one up in Adams up in New York is talking about giving them $10,000 apiece on a credit card. Where the hell is all of this money coming from?
Us.
Yeah, but it can't be coming from them. We're going deeper in debt.
Yeah.
They need to wake up and get these people out of office. All of these Democrats,
well, that's why. Think about why they're letting them in. It's because we're in debt.
But look, it's not just the Democrats. The Republicans are just as complicit in this crime as the Democrats. They're all allowing this shit to go. Sorry about that. All allowing this stuff to go on because they're funneling money and putting it back in their pocket.
Yes.
Like Abbott down there in Texas, his buddy that's got the contract busing people up. I think he was getting like $250,000 a load for bus loads of illegals.
Mm.
Did you hear about that story?
I did. Truly a mess.
This is just crazy that we sit back and allow our government to rob us like this, and we're not doing anything about it.
It's almost a it's inconceivable at times. Just the criminal element of our own government. It's just absolutely criminal. It's the end of America type thing.
It's like they're doing it intentionally, trying to piss us off to the point that we react in a violent way so they could then turn around and then do like some kind of martial law or something like that. That's the only thing I can think.
I'm seeing that too.
As far as they can.
Of course, they lick their what is it? They lick their lips when they see shootings and stuff, especially if it's a white face.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
this
just
is
like
how we're going to stop the guns. And it's working.
The chief shooting up there at the parade, they couldn't name it. And it was great on Bill Maher, that blonde-headed skinny girl. She said, the reason we know it's not a white guy is because they didn't tell you it was a white guy in the headline.
I think so. Man.
They do that every time. And I can't think of her name. She's a skinny girl, skinny blonde-headed girl. And she's the one that told Bill Maher that out of all the people, Trump was the leader before he got elected the first time.
Yes.
You remember who I'm talking about?
I think so. I sort of remember that.
Did you see that on Bill Maher this past Friday where she told him that?
I saw something like that. I didn't quite see the clip.
Van Jones was sitting beside her, and you could see Van Jones, the registration in his eyes when she said that, oh, man, that she's telling the truth, because you never hear about who the perpetrator is in these shootings, these school shootings or mass shootings, if it's not a white guy. But then that tells you that it's not a white guy because they didn't tell you it was a white guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, usually in this reporting, if it's a salacious, if it's big enough, if there's enough dead and carnage, they will get to the identity eventually. But I gotta say, even with this Kansas one, even though it looks like they did show the identity, I don't know if it's unfounded. The claims of the delay was because of the race of the identity. I don't think that's an unfounded thing to say. Appreciate that, Jamie.
That's the way it always is, though, and that shows you that they're trying to divide us by race. They're trying to do anything they can, because this will get swept under the rug because of the race of the people that did do the shooting. They had to do something about the story because it was at the parade, but it'll get swept under the rug, and nothing will be done about it. But if that was white guys that did that, it would be on the news 24/7, back to back to back.
It'd be the end of the Second Amendment.
It would.
Well,
appreciate it, man.
Right on, Jamie. Call me again.
You have a good one, man.
Right on, Jamie from Georgia. A little Southern. All right, folks, that's it from me. That's American Anchor, baby. I'll be back tomorrow. We got open line. We got, Bible Thumper Thursday already. You don't want to miss it. We love Bible Thumper Thursday. We do love it. But what else? Let me make sure I'm not missing anything here. Before we bid adieu, Remel / In the Loop bought a coffee. Thank you. Says Nick the pilot, a real pilot. Same controls in a real plane as in Microsoft. Thank you for that. Appreciate the vote of confidence. Right on. And that's it from me. That's everything. All right, folks. For real now. Let me say goodbye. Take care, y'all. See you tomorrow. Bye.